Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. We have Diana DeShazer. Hopefully, I pronounced that right. It's the first. She's number one. And how is it? I'm the first one. So you win, Diana. All right. So I'm sure the chat's going to blow up on this one. We have Democrats basically committing suicide as a political party. They've been doing that for a long time, but they've been cheating to the point where they've been able to stay in office and overcome a lot of good people that should be in office. And I'm not saying that all Democrats are bad. Most are, unfortunately, because that's the way the party is. But Republicans are not that much better. At some point, I see there will be no political parties going forward. So I've said that many times, and it's moving in that direction. So Democrat Party will probably, as I see it, and I've seen it for a long time, be the first to go completely away. And then it will be, instead of a new semi good Democrat Party, there just won't be anything. People will just come in, and if they have good ideas and the people love them, they will rise to the top. And that's the way it's going to be going forward for everything. All right. Everything. So it's going to be amazing going forward. But of course, we have to expose the bad, and we have to destroy the bad in all things, and that's what we're going to see in everything. Right? 3 days of darkness as Earth resets as predicted through the Hopi, which we're going to talk about, and many others. The blue Kachina coming in. Is that going to be that new comet that's coming in? Is it going to be blue? That'll be interesting if it is, right? Because that's prediction. So we'll talk about that. But first, we're going to talk about Democrat Party and some other things. So Abbott, Governor Greg Abbott, who I'm not the greatest fan of, but he seems to be doing the right thing right now. So I appreciate it when people do the right thing, and I support them. It doesn't mean that I'm like, if Mike says it's good, it's good. No, I think the people are seeing, we the people, Democrats, independents, Republicans, and non-affiliated, right? They don't care like me. I don't care about parties. I just care about the best person getting in office, regardless of who that is. It's just as long as they're not a Democrat. So Democrats are completely, I think, taken over. So let's look at all the headlines. They've been going back and forth for last several days. Let's look at a few of them. Texas Republicans vote to arrest Democrats stalling redistricting vote. That was 8 hours ago on the BBC. And CBS News, can Texas Governor Greg Abbott remove Democrat lawmakers who left the state? Governor J.B. Pritzker, the DNC chair Ken Martin praised Texas Democrats in Illinois. Illinois, which is the biggest redistricting state in the union. Of course, the Democrats from Texas would run there because they want to continue to hold their power. Now, there is a movement, and I'll show that in a second, where the Supreme Court would vote and require all 50 states and territories to have ID voting. If that happens, the Democrat Party completely collapses, right? We know that because they cheat. They've been cheating for decades. And if that happens, then you're going to see a lot of Democrats go away. And I think pretty much the party will implode, right? So that's the movement. It's moving that direction on a lot of different levels. Of course, the Democrats are going to whine and scream and cry because that's all they have left. They don't have any more power. They have very, very limited power, and that's being taken away from them through the judicial side. Now, you guys remember, I've been saying the judicial, once we defeat the judicial, then we will start to see a lot of things start to transpire. Because we can't come in and say Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton did this and that. Hillary Clinton pushed the Russia hoax, on and on and on. We can't do that with a corrupt judicial. They'll get off. We'll have all the evidence, which we have right now, and they'll bring, the Hillary lookalike to trial, and it'll get thrown out. So it'll just continue this game. And that's what Trump has been talking about. And I think they have reached, I've seen a lot of things. When I do these shows, when I put these shows together, I start the research, I put all the information together. I could have spent all day putting together copious amounts of information to back all the stuff that I'm talking about. It would be just one thing after another, after another, after another, like this. Instead of going down each one of these, talking about each one of these, Abbott orders arrest of Democrats who fled Texas. He orders their arrest, right? Abbott orders civil arrest of Texas Democrats. So I could go down any one of these rabbit holes, pull up all these different articles and talk about all these different articles. But I'm just going to show you the preponderance of it, right? This is the destruction of the Democrat Party, and they have nothing else left. All they can do is scream and cry and hope that someone listens to them, right? It's not happening. It's not happening. So we may see these people arrested, charged with felonies, and then booted out of office. All right. So we know that with this redistricting, which Democrats have been doing for everywhere, Republicans have been just so nice and just letting them get away with it. It's not happening anymore, right? So this is why I see, and I've seen, I didn't know what was going to cause it, and maybe this isn't the ultimate thing. I think one of the things that will be probably one of the final nails in the coffin is the Supreme Court voting that all of the voting from here on out will have to be done with someone that has a U.S. citizenship, proof of citizenship, driver's license. I don't know what kind of, because I know illegal aliens get driver's licenses. So I don't know how this goes forward, but somehow we will have to go out and go in and however we I'm new to Nevada. I have to go get a new driver's license for Nevada, and have to bring in proof of residence here in Nevada, 2 pieces of evidence, and I'll take in because you have to have, I can't use my military ID. That's crazy, right? So my retired military ID is not acceptable. That's crazy to me, but that's not one of the forms of identification that they'll accept. So I have to have a passport, which I'll take my passport, a couple, my, I guess my, like when I come in and geez, I can't even think. All the things that I pay for, right? So when I pay for electricity, so electric bill, my water bill, whatever, you have to have 2 forms of that. So it's really crazy. So if you have to have all that, I have to have all that to vote. You can't be illegal here. There's just too much that's needed, and I think that's good. So we have to redo that so that everyone comes in and brings in the proof of identification, whatever, with all these multiple forms of identification that you are a U.S. citizen, you are living here, and you have bills, and it's proof. Whether you're renting, whether you're living in a mobile RV somewhere, you have to have proof that you're living somewhere here in the United States. So that's going to be one of the things that's going to be the deciding factor going forward. And you won't have illegal aliens that are voting and dead people voting and all that stuff. It will be wiped. So there won't be any cheating going on. So the Democrats will completely go out of office. No one's been voting them in. Now I'm sure I'm probably wrong in some areas, but they'll get what they're going to get. And that's the way it's going to be, right? So for the most part, the Democrat Party will disappear, except in some places where people believe it's not the party of slavery. So I don't know, and we'll talk about that. Jasmine Crockett, Remember back in the day, they used to, a lot of African Americans, black people would say, yeah, they're the House inward, right? They're the House. So Jasmine Crockett is basically for the Democrat Party, the House inward, right? So we need to get to that point where we start to understand, and that is not a negative thing. That's an understanding thing. Now, I just heard her go off about how Republicans are the party of the KKK. No, the KKK came in. Remember Hillary Clinton and that West Virginia senator? I can't remember his name right now, but he was a KKK member, Democrat, KKK, right? And she was saying that he's like the most perfect guy, and then it came out that he was a head KKK guy, a Democrat, right? So these guys will lie, cheat, and steal until everybody figures it out, right? So they have been, the party of basically the Republicans. When Republican Party started under Abraham Lincoln, blacks ran to the Republican Party in the South on a massive scale. The KKK Democrats came in and like burned crosses on their lawns and strung them up and all kind of crazy stuff. And now they try to say that's the Republicans. They just flip this stuff all the time. It's so freaking frustrating, right? But there's people that listen to certain news and other people that have open minds and listen to other news, because we are the news now, because the regular news is basically spreading disinformation and lies. So a lot of people still listen to that, unfortunately. So this is where, it's very imperative to us to share this information, hold our ground. Now, a lot of you, all you have to do really is just hold your space, right? Hold your beautiful love vibration space, and it will impact. I've talked about this for a long time, for 20 years. I've talked about this, how holding your love vibrational space makes a difference. All right, I've been talking about this. I've been doing courses on this. A lot of you guys have followed me for a very long time. Some of you just jumped on the last 5 years or so, and some maybe even less than that. But I've been talking about this for, before my first book came out, The Intuitive Warrior. That's like 15 years ago now, almost 15 years. It's really highlighted in there, but I was talking about it before then, and I was like, I got to write this down so people can read this. All right, so it is out there. A lot of us have been talking about it, but holding your space will impact, the vibrational frequency will impact everything, right? The more of us that start to move in this vibrational frequency realm, the better, because it will make an impact on our world and on consciousness going forward, because we're about ready to shift. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in detail. All right. So, I mean, look at this. Look at all of this. Texas House issues warrants for absent Democrats. These people are evil. Pure and simple. Pure and simple. They have captured the consciousness of a lot of people. I've seen this in the Middle East. All right. You'll have almost everybody is like beautiful, loving, family-oriented people in the Middle East. And then you have this evil Muslim crazy group that comes in and controls everything. This is what the Democrat Party wants to do here in America. We were like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no, you're not doing that. You evil Luciferian Democrat Party. Demon rats is what I call them. All right, so their days are numbered, right? So what's going to happen with these people that have run to Illinois, to Prickster, and hoping that he's going to they're hide behind that big fat body of Pricksters, and hoping that he will save them. All right, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that Al Green crazy boy, oh my God, that man is like insane. His district's going to go away, so he's up there yelling and screaming like he always does. I think Texans are done with it. All right, we're going to redistrict them. And you found me through James Gilliland. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he's a magnificent man. So it's going to be redistricted, like the Democrats have been doing all over the country, especially in Illinois, where they're hiding out. And I hope that Texas Rangers come up there and yank the hell out of them back to Texas, throw them in jail, run them in front of a congressional side. They vote, they redistrict, and then they like kick those Democrats out of the party. All right. I don't know. It's like, what is going to happen to these Democrats? They need to be making examples of. And is that going to happen? Is that going to happen? Will the Republicans, have the cojones to do that? We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that yet. Right. So a lot of us have been talking about that. Yeah, Al Green is absolutely one of the worst. So he's got his cane, and he shakes his cane, every time he tries to, make a point. It's like Shakespeare. So it's not working. We're onto them, right? So they're losing everywhere. So the latest is Trump has called out Hillary Clinton. All right. So let's look at. I guess they passed, the Department of Justice or Congress or whatever has passed a subpoena for Bill and Hilly, hillbilly girl, to come to Congress and testify. Right. So we're going to see these things start to run. Now, will that make any difference to them? Will they even show up? Both of them are gone, I think. But whoever's playing their part, will they show up and speak? That'll be interesting if they do. We get to look at who's playing Hillary. Who's it. It won't matter, because remember all those people that had those masks of like President Trump. This was years ago. They're like, President Trump was dancing around, and everybody's like, oh, look, President Trump's dancing around. And then they like pull back, and it's a guy with a mask on, and he's got like a little skinny body. And it's like, everybody's like, that's a mask. Yeah, been talking about this for years. They can make perfect masks, right? The CIA perfected this. I was in the CIA. I never went to the mask level, but I could walk amongst the Muslims and look like a Muslim, guys. Right? I did it all the time. I've showed pictures of this. We have great disguises. Anyone can beat it. Anyone can do this, right? If you're a bald guy like me, throw on a wig sometime, and then walk around and see how people look at you. Like, they won't even know who you are. They won't even know. Put on some fake glasses, a mustache, like I used to do, in a toupee. You're just completely transformed, dude, and dudettes. All right, dudettes can do the same thing. Throw on a burqa. It's like they can't even see you, right? So it's very, very easy to transform. Super easy. And we've been talking about this for friggin' 5 years now, all right? If you're still not clued up on this, God help you, all right? You're just so dumbed down, right? It's a shame. But I don't think anybody in this audience is like that at all. You're a very, very well-informed audience, and you're going to make a difference going forward. So let's look at what's coming up for these evil people.
Wrong, I'm back, second time around. So listen to what he says in this Newsmax clip. I think this was with Finnerty. Let's listen in and hear what Trump is saying, because Hillary, you're on notice.
New emails, Mr. President, suggest essentially that Hillary Clinton personally approved the Russia hoax. With Obama. With Barack Obama. And my question is she finally going to pay for what she did, or does she get a pass again?
So, we had her, and I had her right under the sights, and I told the people, look, you can't do this to a president's wife, an ex-president, and she was...
All right, so all the way back there to Trump's first time in office, you can see he was Mr. Nice Guy. Republicans are Mr. Nice Guy, right? Now Republicans are starting to take the gloves off, guys, and they better, because the people are getting ready to like make this happen ourselves. I've had many guests on that have been talking about this, right? We're fed up with this. It's getting to the point, especially with the child trafficking stuff, that we can't play around with these people anymore. And there's a lot of playing around that's going on. A lot of talk, no walk, and no action. So it better start happening. It better start happening, or we're going to make it happen, and it's going to be ugly.
Secretary saying, but you can't do this to the wife of president. And if you remember, I'll tell you how I feel about it in a second. If you remember, I was at a rally and it was after the election. And they said, lock her up. And I said, no, look, we won, just relax. And I didn't do what other people would have done, what they would have done. And then they went after me and they meant it. I said, it's amazing. I always felt that you shouldn't be doing this stuff. And I let Hillary off the hook. I totally left her off the hook. And then I let her off the hook for what? And then I come in and they did the same thing to me. The difference is they actually meant it. And they hurt a lot of people. And it was all a hoax. Now they have it in black and white. No, I think they should pay a price. By the way, it's a very big price. It could be the biggest scandal in the history of our country, but it continues onward. And that continues onward. That scandal has continued from the beginning. They have everything they do is a hoax. They're no good at anything other than some forms of nasty politics.
All right. So, it's Trish Reagan was on Fox News. They kicked her out. I mean, she's like just so like she was milquetoast, right? She was so nice. And now she's getting feisty, right? So Trump's getting feisty. I've been feisty all along. I'm a warrior. I don't play around with this bullshit, right? So that's I've been holding back, right? I've been nice, not too nice, of course, because they've tried to kill me many times, and they've tried to destroy me many times, but I keep coming back. They must be really pissed about me. It's like they're like something's watching over him. Better not mess with him. I wouldn't doubt that people have come after me that have had some crazy bad stuff happen to them, because I remember when I was like just in the game, we would like just play, kind of like cowboys and Indians, not as kids, but I mean, seriously, we would like track each other and come after each other, all kinds of stuff. And the guys that would come after me, they just had crazy stuff would happen to them. It's like, so I get weird protection. So it's pretty amazing. So I think that all of us that do the right thing get a certain amount of protection. If you're like a hamby-pamby and you talk the talk, but in the back you like talk smack, you're not doing the right thing all the time, right? It's probably gonna, and then you're like, why do negative things happen to me, Mike? Well, look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. Are you solid all the time? If you're not, then you need to get solid all the time. You can't be like, in front of everybody, yeah, and then in the background you like subvert everything. And so many people do that, right? So and they have like crazy stuff happen to them, right? We've seen a lot of people that were in this truther community that are no longer here, right? And that's because they were mamby-pamby, or they talked the talk in front of everybody, but really they didn't have that integrity. It wasn't in them, and they did something stupid, and it basically blew them up, and they're gone, right? So those of us that have been here for a long time, gone through a lot of stuff, right? You've gone through a lot of stuff, and you've stayed integrous, and you're on point, right? Most of you. Some of you would like to get to that point, but you're not understanding how. Just like I said, stay in the loving vibration, right? And that loving vibration basically vibrates out, and you'll see things start to happen. And you're like, oh, Mike, I can't love them. Then you're going to have problems, right? Because if you're going to say that I'm going to be in that loving vibration, except then you're not there. Hello, you have to always be there. If you find yourself not there, if you find yourself, slipping and hating, talking shit, right? You're going to attract that, because we're moving into a vibrational field where you have to be super on your game, right? And if you're not, we're going to see more and more people start to be exposed, fall away, and only good will go forward, right? What's that song? Only the good die young. No, that's wrong. Only the bad die young. We've got to flip that, right? So you have to watch the music you're listening to too, because stupid shit like that, it's going to mess with your mind, and I think that's part of the game. Yes, Wayne, love is strong and pure. So knowing that it's strong and pure, you always want to be there. It's very simple. It's very, very simple, right? Just send the baddies love. I send Jasmine Crockett lots of love, right? And we're going to see. We're going to see how that works out. All right, so let's listen to Jazzy Crockett.
Straddle the fence. They want to show that they are loyal to this, I don't even know what to call them. I call them so many things, but this wannabe Hitler for sure. All
right, so there you go. Democrat Party, that's what they do. They talk smack like that. Now the Republicans can't start doing that, because you're going to attract to you personally what is coming for these people that talk like that, because it's a vibrational field. You can listen to it, it's like I can watch people do stupid and say they're going to implode, right? They're going to implode. They're doing stupid. It's obvious. You can't help them. They have to have that experience. So she has to have that experience. The people that support her have to have the experience of this thing imploding on them to see, because that's what we saw over the 4 years that Trump was not in office, that got cheated from him by the Democrats. All right, so these people are imploding with their commentary. They're attracting negativity. And everyone that's following them and believing in them and talking the same talk and being violent like they are is going to get that back, 100-fold.
Want to pledge their loyalty to him, and they know that he does not want this released. I think they also are concerned about the damage that it may do. They understand.
So talking lies. She doesn't know that she's being set up to fail. She's being set up to fail. And she's going to fail horribly, right? Although in her district, she is 15 points ahead of the next Democrat, right? So redistricted, right? So that these people can't have the ability to come in and create negativity on the level that they're doing. All right, we're all going to start to see that. Even the Democrats eventually that support this extreme negativity without any real, because you approach these people and you try to ask them questions and they want to get violent with you because they don't have thinking. They can't think for themselves. There's no creative thinking for them. They're just puppets to Democrats. The Democrats have always been able to do this. So we have this evil group of Democrats that used to be all white, and now they've like enslaved a lot of people within the black community, and then they have people like her that help them, because just like if you go back to the South, they had the House person that came out into the fields and spread what the white master wanted spread. So that's what she's doing.
We need to have some real guardrails around the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. Yes. He is. But in a functioning democracy, he still would not be able to get away with this. But he's been able to get away with this because the House Republicans are complicit. He's been able to get away with this because Senate Republicans are complicit. But most importantly, the courts, especially the Supreme Court, is complicit. And so I think one of the places that we have to start is we are absolutely.
All right, so the Supreme Court, they know what's coming. That's why she's bad-mouthing the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, like I said, is going to go, you have to have an ID to vote, period. All 50 states and territories, Guam and Puerto Rico, which should be a state, but sad for them, they have Democrats that are running the place, right? They're enslaving the people there. That's the way the Democrat Party works. They enslave. So here is someone that is calling our constitutional Supreme Court, right? It's no good because they know it's coming. So they're trying to talk it bad and get everybody riled up. So when they do say you got to vote with an ID card, are these people not going to go get an ID card? I hope not. I hope not, because I would rather see them not even vote if they're going to vote stupid.
They are the highest court in the land, and they have no ethics guardrails. Now you go down to the lower court, and they do. How much?
Now you have hundreds and hundreds, maybe even 1,000 or more, judges that in the lower court, like she's talking about, that can tie all this up for years. So you have the President Trump and his team is trying to get things through, like I talked about. But you have one of these federal judges, and there's hundreds of them all over the country. There's only 5 states out of, I think, 35 different states that have like federal judges that are like on a level like that are crazy. Only 5 states where there's been problems for President Trump. Only 5 states. And they've caused a lot of problems. So it looks like we're getting to the point where they're going to be delegitimized with being able to stop what we, the people, have voted for. They're not elected to our, executive branch. So they should not be allowed to interfere with it. And that's coming. I think it might actually have already passed from some of the stuff I've seen. So like I said, there's tons of information that I've been researching. I can only get so much of it out, right? So we have to, be aware that that is what's coming. So all these lower court judges, like she's saying, she wants them to stay powerful because they're the ones that the Democrats have been for years putting into positions of power to stop those of us that are conservative, want our country to be beautiful, want to stop child trafficking on the level that's unbelievably horrific, all right? So we're talking, on the level of 500,000 children that disappeared, and they've only found like 14,000 of them. So the Democrat Party let them in during the last 4 years. Democrat Party did that, right? So I had a Jay with JJ Carroll was on a show just recently, and he talked about that. So he was in the border, high-level border official, and he knows all this stuff. So Trump administration lowballs it 300, but he says it's really 500,000 children that are missing. We have to push back on this, and the Democrats are the ones that allow that. They're the party of child slavery and disappearing children on the level of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands. All right, is anyone out there pissed about that? So I hope you guys understand when I call these people out, I call them slave masters, like they've been for pretty much the whole time that we've had our country. They've been in that position of doing the slavery stuff. They haven't stopped. They're still trying to do it.
What does that make? When we know that they're taking money, we have the paper trail, and they put guardrails on themselves. So it's time for us to do it for them.
All right. So she's also the one that said that someone needs to like get physical with President Trump. And we see a lot of people in the Black community are like robbing, looting, even little kids. We've seen a lot of that. It happens across the board, of course, from every group, but there's a lot of Black children and Blacks that are doing this, guys. And then you have people within the Black community saying, this is like, this is insane. This is being promoted by the Democrat Party. I just saw where this one woman has, I think, 9 children, and the police force was like, going by to respond to something else, and they got a call that there's like all these children are arguing inside this house. So they go into this house, they're by themselves. There's like, toddlers to like, I think 10 years old. There's like 9 of them, and they're living in filth. All right. So the woman that had these children is on those programs that you get more money for more children. All right. So we've seen all this stuff that's starting to be revealed. All right. So that type of mentality, that type of push from the Democrat Party that's enslaving people into a system that is extremely counterintuitive and is harmful to not only the people that they're enslaving into these systems, but also obviously children, right? They're not, and I fought the Black men for neglect. So it's part of the culture too, all right? So there was at one time, I remember as a little boy, Black families were strong, right? They were strong, and I had a lot of Black friends. I still do, of course, but they were always incredible. And I grew up in the South, right, where there was a lot of prejudice, but you learn to push through it. I had when I played sports, everybody's the same. You want everybody to like win, so we didn't bullshit around, and I thought that was really good. Sports in the military, you have to work together, right? So in the regular society, you have Democrats who are basically trying to create division and racism that doesn't really exist, but they push it as some kind of crazy thing. It's sad. It's extremely sad. You have a lot of people in the Black community that are great leaders that speak out about this, but they're unfortunately few, and they do have an effect, obviously, but not enough. I think we have to support them and support them to help awaken these people, but it doesn't pay for them to awaken because they get paid to be in the slavery system the Democrat Party pushes, right? So they get the votes, and people are enslaved to that system that the Democrats have put together. So it's tough. It's tough to overcome this, but it is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to speak out about this. They don't want us to speak out about it, but we need to speak out about it and do it lovingly, right? Do it lovingly. The Jasmine Crockett's out there. We just send them love, and eventually that vibration basically pushes them out, destroys that negativity they're pushing, right? So very, very corrupted system that, as we expose it, as they have in the past criticized us and belittled us because we were exposing it, now we're like taking the gloves off, I guess, to a certain extent, mentally and verbally. So we can't let them push us around anymore. So do you support the Supreme Court mandating voter ID across all 50 states? Now, Juan O'Savin came on and talked about this, I think like 6 or 8 weeks ago. And so I said, how many people would support that? And the chat blew up. Everyone was like, hell yeah, let's get this done. So this is not going to be a problem, except for Democrats, just like it's a problem right now in Texas for Democrats, right? So are you ready to register on a new system for voting? Once this happens, the Democrat Party disappears virtually overnight. See how they ran in Texas to feebly try to maintain their power. It's feeble, all right? Everyone's seeing through their bullshit. And then I had this one thing about I predict Ulta beauty sales will crater. Check this out. All right. So just like Bud Light, we're probably going to see Ulta crater, right? Ulta's going to crater, and here's a lot of stuff that people put out there. Of course, you know this. I'm sorry, I have to let you all go, but you're just not freaks anymore. We got tattooed people like crazy, people grossly overweight. The culture's got to change back to where it was, guys. So we got Bud Light, Disney, of course, with their shows, Jaguar, and then now the wokeness death is basically knocking on Ulta's door. So probably going to see Ulta go away. But, you know, my comment was, but hey, maybe not. Women let trans men compete with them in sports, right? I threw that in there to fire women up, right? So they definitely didn't like it that much. So probably I haven't looked at the comments. I'm probably got fired up. I got hammered, but you know, you got to push the envelope here sometimes, guys. Don't let this shit happen. So we've let it happen for a long time. So this was shared with me, and I shared it on my X account, and it blew up. It's got well over 500,000 views, and it's been shared for almost 1,000 times. Is something big about to pop, and they want to be in position in Cheyenne Mountain when it does?
You can see them. There's one.
All right, so he's pointing them out. He's talking about planes, 1, 2, 3 tails, and there's 2 more over here. So there's 5. You see this building right here? He says, and I know this is true, not particularly for this place, but I know it is for other places. There are tunnel systems to transport people into Cheyenne Mountain. Now, Cheyenne Mountain is easily the most secure place probably in the world. And it's so secure, they can say, yep, we have, we just lock the doors, and whatever you guys do out there, we're still going to survive, and we're still going to continue. Right. I said like a couple of years ago that I saw Trump there. Boy, people didn't like that. People didn't like that. I said, what are you saying? Like, that's not Trump? It's like, sometimes it's not. Maybe all the time. Right? He's safe in Cheyenne. Maybe still is. I don't know. So maybe they're starting to put people there. I don't know, guys. Some people are saying these are there because there's fires going on there in Colorado. Yes, that's true. But anyway, this was shared with me, and I just shared it. So let's see what he says.
2, 3, 4, 5 of them on the ground. 2 of them are pretty big. And they're off to the side of the airport in a private hangar that everybody's pretty sure has a tunnel ring in Cheyenne Mountain.
Okay, so be whatever it is. Is there something about to go down? So just be aware, just be observant. A lot of people don't want to believe that, so they just come in and hammer it, right? Make excuses or whatever. We've seen this for a lot of stuff, right? We saw this for the COVID vaccination program. People just make excuses for it. It can't be all that bad. Yeah, it can be. It can be very deadly bad, and still is. But there is the possibility that something's going down. Just be aware. Now, there's possibility something's going down all the time now. And is that an indicator? No, we'll see. All right. So the stock market today, because you guys know that I said a couple days ago So there was a gap and it had to be filled. And so the stock market went up and it filled that gap. So all of the, everybody got excited because the stock market went down. They're like, oh my God, it's going to crash. Well, it came back up. Now this is silver. Silver's doing what silver does. Silver is basically, it went down, and now it's going back up. Right? It's legging back up. As you can see, silver went down, and then it went up, and then it went up, and then it went up, and then it kind of pulls back. It doesn't always go up all the time, and that's good. That's a healthy pullback. I was hoping it would hit 41 and then pull back, but 39. It's getting ready to go over 41. So it's going to work its way up. As you guys can see, it is working its way up. Gold is doing the same thing. You have like gold does this. It'll do 3 or 4 highs, and then it'll take off again, right? We can go back and see that if we look, right? So 1, 2, 3, go, right? So this time it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think we're going to see go, go, go. Now, Bitcoin, of course, goes down when the stock market goes down. So it has gone down. It's trying to come back up. So it hit its Bollinger Band, all of the crypto like that. You see XRP. It came down, hit its Bollinger Band. So Bollinger Band, basically, the green one is the bottom and the red is the top. As you see, when Bollinger Bands are pierced, you'll oftentimes get a pullback. So we get a pierce down here and a push up, right? So that's the way this, and sometimes they'll just follow that Bollinger Band up, 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 and away, right? So we're going to see that happen with silver soon. And silver's just going to go up, 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 and away. It's going to be like helium balloon. It's going to keep going up and 100, 200, 300. Oh my God. I never thought it would go beyond 300. Yep. It's going to keep on going. So those of you who have been able to hold on to silver, good for you. Because I know it's hard. I hear from everybody, times are hard. But you're going to see that when this thing really takes off, people are going to find a way to get it. Right? And that's the way it always works. They'll be lining up outside the gold and silver stores. Right now, they're like, dumping. But in the big picture, the big guys are like buying the stuff up on a massive scale. So little guys are paying big bucks for it compared to what they used to, and they think it's too high. They won't think it's too high when it's like 150. They'll be like, I got to get some of that. It's like a lot cheaper than gold still, right? So gold will still go up, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. Silver, 100, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going, 600. And you'll be like, I never thought it would go beyond 35. Yeah, it's like 37, almost 38. What is it right now? 37.80. So it'll probably pop, I don't know, a couple days, 38. Then it'll go 39. And then it'll get crazy and it'll push past 41. So that's the way this works. Now the stock market, I think, is going to go down. Crypto is going to go down. And why do I say that? If you look at the Dow Jones, like I talked about, gapping. Remember I said, oh no, it gapped down. They're going to have to fill that gap. Well, look at that. It filled that gap, just like Mike said. And it was a red day today. So will tomorrow, will it go down? It's got a gap down here. Gap's got to be filled. Now the stock market has gone up 3 months in a row without a pullback. 3 months. So all the way back here, up, 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 up. So now we've had a little bit of a pullback. And normally it'll go a month and a half, and then it'll get like a 1.5 to 3% pullback. So we've gone 3 months, and we haven't had a percentage pullback really. So I think we might be due for at least a 6%. But if we see some earth change stuff happen, which I think is coming this month, then we may see this thing really take off to the downside. So there's other gaps down here. So you got that gap right there. And if you come down here, we got another little bit of a gap right down here. So there's gaps in now the NASDAQ is full of gaps. It is full of gaps. All right, we got one back here. All right, so that's what is that? 532 on the triple Qs. Let's go to the NASDAQ. What am I doing? So the NASDAQ, it's, the high was 23,600. So that was the all-time high right there. And now it's pulling back. So it doesn't want to do that because a lot of people want to buy the dip, right? They think, oh, buy the dip, that's what we do. But you have to fill the gaps. Now the gap is all the way down to 21.6. That's 2,000 lower than the high. 2,000. That's a lot, right? Now look over here. Look at that big old gap. Oh, buddy. That's way down there. That's 3,000, about 3,500 down. Oh, and that's not all. We got more gaps down here. Look at that gap. Way down there. And that's a 18,000. So that's like it's over 5,000. Could be a 5,000 pullback, and then it fills that gap. Then it's like, okay, we can go higher now. Maybe not. Maybe they'll come down and test that ultimate low. And if they push past that, ooh, look out below. But there is a possibility that this thing will reach even higher highs, guys. So it could be a pullback, could fill in some gaps. But remember, all of these gaps at some point are going to get filled, right? So the higher it goes, the faster it's going to fall, right? So just be heads up. All right, so silver is easy. It's just going to keep chugging up. So if you're still haven't gotten silver, come on, don't get left behind. Don't get left behind. Some of you guys are like going to buy the dip on XRP. I wouldn't do that yet. So it could be a lower low for XRP. Could be like not coming back for a long time. So it's up to you guys. Silver is the one to be in. Silver has outperformed everything but crypto. A lot of you guys think the crypto is going to be the future. I don't think so. Right? In some cases, XRP, yeah, maybe XLM, Bitcoin, because it's been used as gold, but there is real gold, and that's where you really want to be, right? All right, so let's look at. I want to show you guys. I just did a show where I talked to Cindy Young. We call her Cindy Lou. And listen to this real quick.
And I mean, I look at Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, and I call her Scam Bondi because she hasn't done much. And these people, they know this stuff that's going on, and nothing is I don't see anything being done. Everybody says there's stuff going on in the background. Well, I want to see people perp walked. I want to see them in cuffs. I want to see them give the J6 treatment. That will be justice to me.
All right. So she was pretty outspoken about the people that the J6 trial, right? And lo and behold, they're charging her with contempt of court. So they have long arms, guys, and they'll keep reaching out. They'll keep trying to make people pay in lots of different ways, literally and figuratively, in both sometimes. So they've basically, I think they're slapping her with contempt, and she may have to go back to court. So that's there is no free speech. We've talked about that quite a bit. The free speech is only if they give it to us, and they give it to us for as long as they want to give it to us, and then they'll snatch it like they have in the past. So, in my own borrowed time, possibly, do they? Now, I asked Juan about this because I got the feeling that they're having to give us this free speech at this point, but they don't like it. They don't like it. And some people, they've already started to pull back on and push on. I haven't completely gotten that. The J6 grandmother, if you guys didn't realize that, so she's J6 grandmother. If you've been watching my shows, you've seen her a lot, right? And we've had some people that have had a lot of deep state push on them. Kevin Hoyt, it's kind of like has disappeared himself with his child because they wanted him to come back to court, and he wasn't. I don't think he was real keen to that because he felt they were probably going to seize her because that's what they've been doing. You guys don't realize it, but he's been dealing with them for years, and finally got his daughter back, and looks like they wanted to play games with him again. So he's just not going to play, right? So is he someplace safe? I don't know. I hope so. Have they seized him? I don't know. I don't think so, but it's a possibility. So we just have to send our prayers to Kevin and his daughter, and hopefully, things will work out. Kevin's a master hunter. He's baiting them. That's what you think, Trace? Could be, right? Could be. He has very skilled and knowledgeable about manipulating them back, right? We've seen that. So he is very good. But we're not probably going to see him for a little bit, right? So I wouldn't worry about Kevin. Like I said, send him prayers. If you're worried about him, send him prayers. Don't worry about him, because you know what that does. It sends that negative energy, right? So give him the good stuff. Right. They need to edit button here so you can correct the misspells. Is making if you use dictation. It's a Leo, right, by his Italian name. So Leo would be what the English speakers call that name, but in Italiano, it is Leo. So I'm trying to correct my pronunciation of his name, Leo. All right, so Leon. I think that's the lion, Lyon. I think it's the way to pronounce it in Italiano. Zagami, I think I got that one down. But Leon, lion, like the lion, right? So he is the lion. He's a warrior, and he's been doing some really good stuff and exposing. Now the latest, they're talking about AI. Now, the AI thing is one of the things that's really going to trip us up as humanity, and we have to be on the lookout for that. So, research paper predicts artificial intelligence will go rogue in 2027 as cyber Satan becomes a reality. So let's listen to a little bit of this clip. Now, this guy is he was at one time the chief business officer for Google X. He has sounded the alarm on AI, warning it will cause global collapse, destroy jobs, and launch us into a possible 15-year dystopia that will change everything. So let's listen.
Technology has always meant progress, more and more and more and more, easier and easier, faster and faster, if you want. So my original prediction was 2029. My current prediction is 2026, which basically...
So that's a 3-year jump. So 2026. That's next year. Now, I think there is a chance. Now, I talk about 3 days of darkness. I've talked about it for years. We talked Ismail Perez, and I talked about it just recently. So there is a definite possibility that we may have a solar flare, very powerful one that will basically destroy AI. And a lot of people have predicted this over the years. I've seen the 3 days of darkness remote viewing. I've seen it a long time ago. I didn't know when it was going to come. It's consciousness. It's a consciousness thing. It may not come. We may just go into complete slavery. I guess the Democrats will love that. But if not, then there's going to be probably the solar flash.
Is the point at which technology is so advanced is that the rules of the game change. Most people don't recognize that. And we're getting to a point, I think, that's being more and more confirmed today with ChatGPT and the likes, that machines are going to be more intelligent than us. Machines are also going to be more autonomous than us, and they're going to be more connected than us. And most interestingly, they're going to be more responsible than us. So many of the decisions related to information in the world today are not handed over to humans. Everything that you see on Instagram is not dedicated by someone. It's dictated by a machine. Everything that you see, when you search Google is dictated by a machine, right? You have to realize that as those autonomous beings, if you want, become more intelligent than us, which, as I say, most predictions were pointing to 2029. When that happens, we hit a singularity. And the singularity is a very interesting place to be. If anyone tells you, I know what's going to happen beyond 2026, I think they're either very arrogant or unfortunate. We don't know.
Okay, so if you really ponder this, you look at the Democrat Party stealing the last election from Trump, and that period of time, that 4 years that we went through, seeing just how ugly and how bad it is. Remember Biden pushing the shots? It was very, you'll be okay. Just get your shot. Of course, he got sick like 2 or 3 times. You won't get sick anymore. And, we'll give you a hamburger. All the different, states are like, we'll give you a lottery ticket. We'll give you a hamburger. And then it got to the point where you're not going to be able to work. And around the world, it got so bad that you couldn't even go and shop for food. Now, they were trying to move in that direction where they were going to have a mandatory vaccination card. And if you didn't have that card, you couldn't get any services, and you wouldn't be able to go in any stores. They were moving it in that direction. It was definitely coming to that. And remember where Biden was like, it was like the evil MAGA, and he had the Marines that weren't Marines that were standing back there at parade rest, and everything was dark. It was red and dark. And he was saying just how bad MAGA was. It was like a threat to our country, and on and on and on. So we saw how bad it was. And then it started to turn around. And it got so bad, they were like, they tried to railroad Kamala Harris in. They didn't go because everybody's like, okay, Biden's our guy. And they didn't go through the normal process where they have all these Democrats come out and, I'm better. I could lead the country better. It was everybody's like behind Joe Biden. And then Joe Biden's like, I'm pulling out after he had that debate with Trump, and it was so bad. And then it just pulled him. So Kamala didn't go through the normal process. So they were railroading her in. And then she had a debate with Trump, and she was just so arrogant, and everybody's like, oh, she did so good. And that's the way the Democrats are. If they're arrogant and just, talk shit and lie, then the Democrats love that. They love liars. They don't care. They don't really care if someone lies and cheats and gets in office. Like, we got in. We don't care. They do. That's the way they are, right? So it's very bad. It's a very bad system, fortunately. And now we have a president that's trying to correct everything, and they're going to fight it. They're going to fight it hard all the way. So that control situation, the AI, the Satan system, which Democrats, they're Satanists to me. That's why I call them demon rats, right? So they're of that system. They're completely on board with that system. That doesn't mean Republicans are perfect either. Absolutely not. We saw a lot of bad stuff from Democrats. A lot of bad stuff. I mean, from Republicans too. So we can't say that Republicans are perfect. No way we can say that. So there's the whole system is rotted, completely rotted. All right, so let's look at ancient prophecy. So I think we're moving in this direction. I've talked about this quite some time. It's a little bit deeper, but I think we're ready for this as a whole, as humanity. I'm going to watch and see the eye count. We're at 12:41 now. Let's see if everybody holds on.
Floods, fires, political chaos, and strange celestial phenomena aren't random. What if they were predicted long ago by an ancient people who foresaw the fall of our modern world? Could a 1,000-year prophecy be unfolding right now, right here in America? Imagine a warning carved into stone, whispered through generations, and preserved by one of the oldest tribes in America, a prophecy that speaks of the very disasters, chaos, and cosmic events we're witnessing today. Could a message from centuries ago be unfolding before our eyes? What if we've been living inside that prophecy all along? Something ancient is stirring in the heart of America. The winds carry whispers of warnings long foretold by one of the oldest native tribes in the world, the Hopi. Their sacred prophecies speak of great.
So my family, we lived in Arizona, Sedona, for several years, and one of the things we wanted to explore, we always did when we traveled around the country. We did Native American stuff quite often. Went to sacred sites all around the country. Then I started doing them all around the world, and the Hopi have they have this thing, the Kachina dolls, and they say they're extraterrestrials. They're basically, that's what the extraterrestrials that we deal with, and it's not like past tense. They still deal with them. So they still deal with the extraterrestrials. They're still informing them. So they have like these meditation places called kivas. They go into deep meditation. They go into the ground. They have history of surviving cataclysms throughout time, going into the inner earth, all kinds of stories like that. So they have, predicted some very interesting things that have actually transpired.
Changes, natural disasters, and spiritual awakenings. For decades, many ignored them as myth, but now the signs are undeniable. Are we living in the times the Hopi warned us about? From a blazing sun over Monument Valley to scenes of climate disasters, protests, and celestial events, this story begins. Stay with us as we uncover the chilling details of the Hopi prophecy and the shocking signs that suggest it's coming true right here in America. The Hopi people have lived for more than 1,000 years in what is now northeastern Arizona. Their name means the peaceful people, and they are regarded as one of the most spiritually attuned tribes in North America. Unlike many other indigenous cultures, the Hopi have preserved a complex spiritual belief system centered around balance, nature, and prophecy.
All right, so I'm going to one of those very interesting things where it's like the angelic realm, informs us. So I'm going to 444 in this ancient prophecy predictions. So this is Mystic Warnings. You guys can go, check this out yourself and listen to it. It's very good. But look at, I'm coming to 444, and look what they say from this point on.
The most referenced part of Hopi prophecy is the 9 signs given by White Feather. Let's go through them and compare them with what's happening now. First, white-skinned men bringing sticks that shoot, interpreted as Europeans, and firearms. Second, horses pulling wagons representing colonial expansion. Third, iron roads crisscrossing the land, clearly symbolizing railways. Fourth, cobwebs in the sky, likely referring to telegraph lines. And later, the internet. Fifth, land submerged by sea in eerie parallel to flooding and sea level rise.
All right, so this is where my predictions have been coming in. We've already seen the flooding. We had the most severe flooding that's ever been recorded on the American coast from that last. So a lot of people thought it was a nothing burger. There was some serious flooding that happened from that, right? So I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But the sea levels rise. So this is a prophecy. So you saw all those prophecies up to this point come true. So you shouldn't discount the prophecies that we're talking about now.
6, a dwelling in the heavens, potentially the International Space Station. 7,
So a dwelling in the heavens. Now we know that there's a comet coming to Earth. Interstellar object 3I/Atlas. All right. So I've said that I looked at it. It is it's basically intelligent life on there with just a natural, shape outside. And when you look at how they're representing it, they're represented. Let me jump over to that. They represent it as blue. Is that the blue object in the sky they're talking about? Is that what's coming? Because if that's what's coming, like you see in their prophecy, which I think there's a very strong possibility that it is, then that's the forewarning of a shift, another shift. So this is what I believe we're coming to. We're coming to that 3 days of darkness, and that shift is basically going to solar flare. A lot of people have remote viewed this for a long time, and have talked about it. And it will basically wipe out the AI. It will wipe out the internet, and it will probably wipe out a lot of stuff that's internalized in us, graphene oxide, all kind of crazy stuff. So I think this is what's coming.
Hot and cold climate change. 8. Strange youth turning against traditions, modern cultural upheaval. And 9. The blue star appearing, a celestial prophecy that may already be in motion. Each sign has either already occurred or is manifesting in real time. It's not just symbolic, it's shockingly literal. The Hopi haven't just warned of destruction, they've offered guidance. They believe we still have a choice to continue down a destructive path or to reconnect with nature, spirit, and one another. Their message is one of humility, balance, and respect for the earth, for life, and for the future. When the heart is pure, the path is clear. Importantly, authentic Hopi voices continue to share these messages on their own terms. In 1992, Hopi elder Thomas Banyosia stood before the United Nations General Assembly, not as a politician or scientist, but as a spiritual emissary. He warned that humanity's unchecked greed, relentless industrialization, and disregard for the earth were leading us toward the end of the fourth world, the very collapse of his ancestors. Words were not poetic metaphor or ancient myth. In the traditions, see a bird wake, try swiftly balance. Well, before it was too late, God, today we are the ones who reach it to hope that become a for those people.
So you hear from we that are going to make. I really think that in that direction. We are the have been not something and we have that we're doing quite a that love vibrated back on conscious and our arm. Let's focus on that as we move forward. Now, this if you missed this show with Ismail Mendez, let me stop sharing. You got funky. Stop sharing, right? Now let me do it correctly. So Ismail, so this is coming. Can you come on? Sure, be sure, did they? All right, but here we go. We're going to keep going.
Is supposed to like reactivate dormant starseed codes and crystalline DNA sequences, which is a huge chunk of us are going to turn into meta-humans, humans with superpowers.
All right, so we're moving from the solar flare, flash, and the 3 days of darkness. Basically, we're going to evolve. So we evolve to a great level, become superhuman, crystalline structure. A lot of people have been talking about for decades. I've talked so many groups of very enlightened people that are no longer around, very wise ones. that unfortunately have passed on. They've talked about this crystalline being that we're evolving to. So this is what he's mentioning here.
And then the third flash is going to anchor in the new Earth energetics and activate the what is known as Project Phoenix, which is the ascension protocol of the Earth. So with that happening, we're definitely going to see.
Do you see that one, you know, the first flash and the second flash? Do you see that? We've heard the 3 days of darkness. Is that what you believe that is? I think that's what I have remote viewed. A lot of people talk about it. Is that what that is?
Yes, that's what that is. 3 days of darkness.
All right. So that 3 days of darkness, you know, you're just going to like hang out. I don't know, hang out in your house. I don't know. I don't think we're going to be moving around. I don't know. We're going to be eating or drinking or anything. We're just like going to be in that 3 days of darkness. That's my understanding. And that's the way I see it. Could be different. I know maybe you have complete control and you get freaked out and you just run outside and disappear in the darkness. I don't know. I see it as a very, very great positive. That's why you have to be very centered now and observant and understand that there's going to be things that are going to happen outside of the realm of your complete understanding. God, most of my life has been like that. Some people just get freaked out and don't want to go there. Just be observant. Stay in love. Be observant. Don't be fearful, because that takes you out of your potential for understanding. So ask for understanding. Once, I don't think if, I think once this event happens, and you'll, I think, have a great experience. And then on the other side of that is this golden age and the superhuman capabilities that we have, like Superman. I don't know we're going to be Superman right away, but they're definitely going to move in that direction. All right. So weather-wise, this is going to continue because the Earth is going through changes too. And it's part of our consciousness. Our consciousness is changing. The Earth is changing. If you stay in the love vibration, you stay in the love vibration and don't let it get to you. The changes that are coming, the negativity that's being spread by Jasmine Crockett or other people, Al Green, all those guys, you're going to do okay. So, and I think you'll be led where you need to be, and at the time you need to be somewhere, right? So, or you'll just, figure you can push through it. But I caution against that. Sometimes you may, like the last time, so I was pushing hurricanes, calming hurricanes. That last one, Hurricane Helene, it was really, really different, right? So we got out of town and it just devastated everything. Now, so sometimes we have to learn the hard way about some of the stuff. That's what I think happened there. Now the next one, Milton, that came in, was like a Cat 5 and above as it was coming into the coast, and then it just went consciousness, and I think a little bit of help from the good guys, but that's the thing that's going to make a difference going forward with these Earth changes. So, is there going to be some devastation that's going to happen? Yes. How bad is it going to get? It remains to be seen. If you're staying intuitive, staying in the love vibration, you'll be guided where to go, what to do. So you have to just be. Everyone's going to be affected by Earth changes going forward.
There's a lot of dust with it. If you follow the last couple of days with it, you can see that dust is traveling with it. At the same time, this can go through some dramatic changes. But we're seeing the same thing on a Euro AI. A weak wave right now, but later on it will eventually get away from this dust and could potentially strengthen. So we do need to watch direction. And you can see this right here. So as we go towards the 13th and the 14th, that tropical wave comes towards the Lesser Antilles. And you can see that's a big, broad wave. This has a little bit of rotation to it. It has all that dust still with it. Not a lot of dust, but it has a good bit on the northern and the eastern side of it. But it's keeping it very big and disorganized. This is just spring rainfall, maybe some winds with it. If you follow along, now remember, we're going past 10 days here. Anything could change. I will show you the ensemble so you can see the trend. The latest run with the Euro AI shows that wave does get directed towards the west, and it starts strengthening as it gets away from that dust, going further and further towards the west. Now, I'm not saying anyone prepare for this. If you're in the Gulf, you're in the East Coast, we have no warnings for you to prepare. This is just a watch. We are still.
All right, so I think it's going to hit Miami, but I predicted Miami last year, and of all of the places where I predicted hurricanes and their intensity level, we were able to lower the intensity level for a lot of those. But the one that did not happen was Miami, right? So will this year be the big Miami one that I said that was going to like pretty much hammer the crap, destroy Miami, and just move straight up through Florida and hammer the east coast of Florida? I don't know. So again, it could be a consciousness thing where we work together and calm this, and it doesn't happen, or if it does happen, it's on a minimalized basis. It remains to be seen. I saw multiple very, very significant hurricanes hitting Florida this year, and back to back to back, and some of them hitting as one is already tearing up Florida, and then other ones coming in and hitting it again. So we'll see. Yeah. So yeah, Silver Pump. I'm the F out of there. As you see, I'm in the woods in a high place, high above where the tsunami is going to hit the West Coast and far away from the hurricanes that are coming for the east. And unfortunately, at some point, I think, depending on, again, consciousness and when this solar flare comes, probably possible tsunami for the East Coast as well. All right. So we're going to see serious earth changes. Everybody's predicting it. Everybody's been predicting it. It just remains to be seen, at what level it's all going to be.
This is Stefan Burns here. We have just had a G4 geomagnetic storm. So we had a solar storm impact coming yesterday.
Now, when they have the solar storms and the coronal mass ejections and all that stuff, we don't need a real coronal mass ejection. All we have is a coronal hole that gets in a facing direction to Earth, and the energy that comes out of the coronal hole is very powerful, and it's caused a lot of these earthquakes and the tsunami and the earthquake. I mean, the volcanoes that are like blown up everywhere now. So Puerto Rico had a complete blackout. So Puerto Rico, under the Democrats, they've been there for a long time. They've been controlling. Puerto Ricans have wanted to become a state forever, but the Democrats won't let them because they use Puerto Rico as a means to money launder, and the Federal Reserve, IRS is there, and all kind of crazy stuff. So they get out of paying taxes and all kind of crazy stuff. So they're not going to let it. There's going to have to be something very, very significant happen there in Puerto Rico. But they, they have flooding there all the time. They have earthquakes there. It's very suspect, right? And now they have a complete blackout, which is probably going to last a while from this solar storm to happen.
It immediately triggered a G2 geomagnetic storm. There was an electromagnetic pulse from the shock of it because it was such a high density and such a high velocity. Then that storm cooled off, but then it ramped up today unexpectedly, and we reached a G4 level. Boom shakalaka. And what happened during this G4 storm is that the entire power grid of Puerto Rico collapsed. It went offline. It looks like we have another 24, 48, 72 hours before that gets repaired. It's a very weak power system there in general for the island. It's a private company, and there's been ongoing problems there. So no real surprise that a strong solar storm was able to knock them offline. And also today, with that G4 storm, we had huge outages with Doom and also Spotify. So we had big problems with some big tech companies, and then
Okay, so what we've been talking about, this solar flash would basically just knocks everything out. So we saw Zoom and Spotify, get hammered today. We've seen Rumble get hammered on several occasions. I remember all those. I think Puerto Rico's had other blackouts because they have a very weak system because they have a lot of Democrats there who steal everything. They don't really put the money back into for the people. So, and that's the way it is around the country. Every Democrat, run cities pretty much shithole, except for where the rich people are that keep these demon rats in power. So it is, and they're the ones that say that all of us are rich. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. It's those people in the big cities, right? So it's going to continue until we rise up, right, consciousness wise, and push back and really take these guys out. It's crazy. So the electrical energy. So we're probably going to see from this, because it really impacted Earth on a massive scale, probably going to see some earthquake activity coming up, because that just basically came in and zapped Earth again, right? So it upped the energy once again. Now the last one that happened, the last tsunami that happened, really did actually impact California. So we're going to look at that, and it impacted broad areas, and it wasn't really shared that much. And I think that's on purpose, because they want to how they want to take a lot of us out. So when they do use this energy that's coming from the sun, that maybe they're actually ramping up, because I think they can do that, and it hits the Earth, they can take that energy and direct it and cause massive earthquakes. They've done this in Haiti. They've done this in Turkey more recently. I think they're doing it right now, and I think they're going to do a really, really big one, and it's not too far off.
Really, really interesting. The events on the Kamchatka Peninsula, or let's say, on the peninsula, but also off the coast of the peninsula, are not open.
All right, Crescent City set new record for the highest tsunami waves on record for continental United States. Highest tsunami waves on record. This was not put out there. This is the only way we get this kind of stuff is from people like me, and on the pulse with Silky, and Stefan Burns, and other people that have been doing this for years. So this is during the day. Now remember how I've said it's going to happen during the night, when everyone's asleep, and you're not going to get those warnings, just like happened in Lahaina. They had all that warning system, and they never used it because they shut it off, and then a lot of people burned. A lot of people, I don't think a lot of people disappeared. A lot of children disappeared in Lahaina. Still haven't been found, and they're covering it up. So the real tsunami came late, later, like 2 o'clock in the morning, like I've been predicting. The big tsunami's coming.
These aftershocks keep coming. On the one hand, then volcanoes are exploding. I just released a video about this. We just had another strong aftershock, magnitude 6.7, and just a few hours before that, a 7.0, which they later downgraded to 6.9. But I'm not talking about the earthquakes right now in this video. I'm talking about the tsunami waves. Many people wrote in the comments, oh, nothing, a nothing burger. Guys, this was not a nothing burger. It has sent these tsunami waves across the Pacific, and we see damage, especially in California. I'll show you footage of that, but I also want to show you some footage.
Now check out this dog. You know, we hear that the animals, they know and they run away. This dog is like on a different level. It's like, I know how close I can be, and watch this dog. This dog is like crazy. Look at these huge tsunami waves come one after another, and they build upon each other, and they really ramp up the coast here, up into the mountains.
After the Kamchatka earthquake, when basically immediately the waves were hitting Russia, the coastline there in Kamchatka. This is probably an island, the Shumshu Island. You see the waves come in, you see there's someone walking with their dog, and you see the waves come in, and you know, waves don't need to be like 30, 40, 50, 100 feet high to do damage, because the first wave might not even be the most pressing. And then you have these waves, and it's not only the...
Yeah, like check this dog out. It's like, yeah, see how he ran up as that big wave was like boom, 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 and then wham. He just like nonchalantly ran over, and it's like, now watch the owner. The owner's going to like run, and the dog is like, I'm cool.
But it's also the amount of water that comes against it, that's pushing against it in the second, third wave. And you also see this here in this video, how high the waves come up the hills actually. And the doggy seems to be a little bit, oh, nothing to see here, I'm not in danger. So a little bit surprising what you see with how much force the waves push against this area. And tsunami damage, of course, it depends on the geology of the area. Here we have hills that hold it back a little bit, but if we have more flat, plain areas that are more susceptible to that, we have more problems. And Crescent City in California is an area like that. The beach in that reaches you, this is critical. And the problem was, this was July 30th.
So they built a containment wall that was supposed to handle big tsunamis. And they built it out there, and it got hammered. I mean, it was like all kinds of concrete and steel and everything. It looks like it got pretty hammered.
Tsunami waves were coinciding with high tides, which of course made them more impactful. So the city has now, aside from the over $1 million damage to the harbor, set a new record for the highest tsunami waves on record for the continental United States. So we've had tsunami warnings when there's bigger earthquakes in Japan, megatrust earthquakes and stuff like this. But, you know, this 8.8 has caused a tsunami wave, the highest on record. So this is not insignificant. So right after the earthquake, these tsunami waves were generated, and they were arriving through the night and also continued through the next day. And the Harbor District has released a press release, the Harbor District of Crescent City, and they said most of the damage occurred approximately at 2:40 a.m. local time on
2:40 a.m. So these tsunami waves, the energy just kept coming, just like you saw in that where the one doggy, it's like, I'm cool. They just kept coming, building upon each other and building and building and building and bigger and bigger. So you're like looking, it's like, that's nothing burger. And then all of a sudden it's like builds and builds and builds and builds. And then next thing you know, you got a 100-foot tsunami and you're gone, right? So, and this is what they want. This is what they want. They want everybody to think, it's nothing burger. We had one. It was like, they kept ramping it up. Remember? It's like maybe the next one, they'll be like, it's an 8.8, but it's actually a 10.3, and they won't ramp it up like it should be. It could be very suspect, especially when it comes in the middle of the night. So, need to be heads up on this stuff.
Right. 30th, when a significant wave surge has lifted the floating concrete dock too high before submerging it. And I've shown you video footage here. I showed you again. Look at the right bottom corner where you see the boats are going up and down and up and down. This is of course sped up. The video, it's not the normal speed, but you can see. So really, Crescent City has recorded the highest tsunami waves ever observed in the continental United States during this event. So this.
All right. So that energy that just came in today is probably going to cause some more. Probably going to get some good. We've already had amazing numbers of volcanic activity. It's just over the top right now, and volcanoes are blowing like crazy. Some that haven't been active for like 600 years are like blowing up, right? And we got a lot of activity in the United States, Alaska, and then down into highest earthquake activity we've seen in some of the volcanoes like Mount Rainier that's been recorded in history. So what's coming is Yellowstone. Yellowstone's I won't say it's a nothing burger, but it's not going to be a super volcano explosion. Not going to happen, right? Many of us have looked at it. I've said it for years. It's not going to be that big of a deal. That doesn't mean that it won't blow. Something won't blow. I think something blows there because everything else is going to be blowing, right? So we've seen more information that's come out. We see that Mount Hood, Mount Rainier, and one other volcano, can't think of the name of it, but there's like these 3 volcanoes that are in Oregon and Washington State. They found that the volcanic tunnels all link together. So once we start to see one of these, and like I've seen it in a remote view, once we start to see one of them really lift off, and we've seen gases coming out of one of them, I think it might have been Mount Hood. So these things are getting ready to go, right? How big remains to be seen. I don't think they're going to be like super devastating at first, but I think eventually they will be. But by then, people will have evacuated because they're going to see that it's going to get really bad. So lots of earth change activity coming. We're looking for this one visitor, ET visitor. Now the deep state is probably going to try and do Project Bluebeam on this, create some, because that's their last straw. That's their last thing they have because everything else is failing for them. So Project Bluebeam will be the last thing that they try and do. No, it's not connected to Mount Shasta. Mount Adams might be the other one. Mount Adams might be the other one. I think that's the other one. But Mount Adams has a lot of ET activity in it, so maybe they'll keep it calm. I think all of them do. I think all of the volcanoes have ET. Well, not at least the ones in the U.S. But if something gets bad, they'll just leave. Right? Who knows? Right? When I look at it, I see ET activity in them. But if it gets bad, they'll just leave, just like we should, right? So, and maybe they'll try and inform us in certain ways, but the deep state wants to kill everybody. They're psychopaths, so they'll try to override that. So James Gilliland. So it'll be interesting to see, what his take on that is going forward. If he's seeing some of this activity happening, he gets a lot of visitation. So, and he gets angelics, all kind of crazy stuff in his ranch. So we'll see. He ranch. So we'll see. Maybe what he's got going on, what he's talking about. It'll be interesting. Mount Baker's in Bellingham, Washington. So yeah. So we'll see. Going forward, guys. I think it's coming. I saw it mid-month to the latter part. Now the 8/8, the Lionsgate. A lot of people have talked about that. I don't see anything happening on 8/8. That's 3 days away. But I could be. If I do see something, I'll let you know. But I'm not feeling anything. Everybody's talking about how consciousness is going to totally evolve on that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen on that day. We're not going to evolve on a massive scale unless we get a solar flash, right? So hit the 88 miles per hour, Back to the Future. So get your car ready. Get your DeLorean. Break it out from the garage. You got it stored away. Get it revved up and get ready to go. All right, guys. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration. It's going to get rocky. Things got to collapse. Lots of stuff's got to collapse. And at some point, it all collapses. Everything. So don't get too, don't hold on to too much. So I'm ready to let it go. Let it all go. So, all right, guys. Lots of love. See you guys next time.